It's when it snowed in Texas, and we were on bikes. Maybe it wasn't the most extreme, but it felt the most extreme. Probably that. Well, the most I've ever felt joy on my mission. Like the closest thing that I can relate to Ammon when he talks about having a fullness of joy, how he's not boasting in God, he just had a fullness. He's like, it's as much joy as he could possibly have. Is anytime we help someone get baptized, when they were confirmed, and we were lucky enough to participate in each confirmation, they asked us to, so we were up there, and whenever they got confirmed, my favorite moments ever is just walking down from the rostrum, from the stage area, after they'd been confirmed and they're in the church. And so you just walk down. That's like the most joy, most spirit I've ever felt. Or like, it's like the peak. I don't know if you can get more than that, but like as much joy as you can think of walking down from the stage. So it wasn't necessarily when they were baptized, but when they got confirmed and then we walked off the stage. That's when just a rush of joy, the Spirit came to me. You're going to sweat a lot, but my white shirts fared pretty well. I would make sure to get a coat because it does get cold in the winter for a month or so, or maybe 2 months. So make sure to have a coat. Scarves are good. Hats. Bring lots of ties because you get sick of ties. I got sick of ties, or like the ties that I had bought, because I only brought like 11. So I eventually found ties in apartments and traded people for ties and things, and companions gave me ties. But yeah, bring lots of ties so you don't get bored of your clothing. Or if you don't care about that, then don't even worry about it. Maybe I'm just weird, but yeah, that's my clothing advice. Bring really good shoes though. And then also, if your tread is running out on the back of your shoe, they have these things called, I don't even remember, but they're little plastic things you can buy at Walmart, and you can tack them, or they have little staple things built in that you just hammer into the bottom of your shoes, and they go on your heel. And that saved my shoes for another 2 months. For the rest of my mission. So it saved it for maybe 6 months, because it had worn down all the way to the end. And then I tacked those things on. There was enough of the rubber left where I tacked those things on, so my shoes lasted for even more. So that's a little trick of the trade. Just kidding. Yeah, they last too. They're great. They kind of are clicky, but besides that, they're sweet. There was one time we were in a trailer park and it was dark. We were looking for a member of the church, and we thought they lived in a certain trailer, so we should have been safe, no worries, they would have been fine. But we knocked on the door, and I'm standing next to my companion's here, and a guy comes out with a gun, pointed at us, and my companion's like, "Whoa, don't shoot, we're good. We're just here looking for this person." He was just totally fine. He was just doing it for safety reasons. So he just stuck his gun in the back of his pants, and then we were good. Asked about the member. They weren't there, and they said, "Y'all have a nice day," and we left. I think so. That was fun. There was a crazy experience. Okay, I've got a really crazy one. So we're sitting here teaching one of our investigators who's getting really close to baptism. He comes up. And we all sit down and we're teaching him, and then he just has to say, "Okay, I have to say something to you guys." So he talks about he's separated from his wife, and so we're talking to him, and his wife, he talks about how his wife's check engine light was on, and he knew it was on. So he went and he took his wife's car without her knowing. They're separated. He has the keys to it, so he took the car, and so she thought it was stolen. She didn't know what it was. But we're sitting there in lesson, we're hearing this, we're like, "Oh no, what's gonna happen?" What have you done? You're trying, because he's talked about how he's tried to get back together with his wife and work things out. But he took the car. And so we're teaching the lesson, and then we just hear him say, "They're here." And so we look over wait, who's here? What? What? And so we're sitting here, me, my companion, and a member of the ward we're serving in. And so we see this young man walking up. He looks like he's 20, 21, walking up, and then we see his wife, I guess, walking up as well. And the door's locked. So once the kid I think he was more like my age. So once the man was next to the door, he was 2 feet away or 4 feet away. He starts running, and he just jams his shoulder in the door. And we're just sitting on the couch what in the world? And so he hits the door, and then our investigator walks over and unlocks the door and just lets him in. I don't even know where that came from, but he lets him in. And so they come in, and you hear him rummaging around in the in the kitchen looking for stuff, looking for the keys, I assume. And then this is kind of funny. The wife walks in the door, and then our investigator says her name's like, "Name, we have company here." And she's like, "I don't give a," and she walks in, and then she looks at us, and she's like, "Oh," because she saw the missionaries. And so she walks in, they take the car, she backs out. The man, he kicks over our investigator's motorcycle, and it hits the ground. And the member with us is like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I don't want to have to like make any trouble, but if they ask me I'm to witness or anything, I'm gonna tell them the truth, so I would just go." So the man walks by all of us, and he's like, "Y'all have a blessed day," and then he walks away. And so it was crazy. And then our investigator was just gone. Like, we had no idea where he went. So it was like we were just sitting in his house. He's like, "I gotta make a call," when it was all happening, and he left, and he was nowhere to be seen. Like, so he just left us there. And so after that, we just went over to the member's house and like had a glass of water. We de-stressed for a little bit, and then we went back out and worked. And then that guy got baptized like a week later, so it was great. It's just all that was probably the craziest experience, but super fun, like super interesting to happen.